Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Bill Brenner, and I am from Cyber Risk Alliance, and delighted to be joined by Victoria Foreman, a cybersecurity analyst for the government of Guam in their Office of Technology. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So, I'm just going to launch right in. You're working hard.
Yes.
You are trying to assemble a team.
Correct.
Talk about what you're up to, where you are, where you're looking to take this.
Okay. Well, we just actually submitted our island-wide cybersecurity plan. So we did a collaboration with the whole of government approach to be able to kind of bring in experts that we have such a hard time being so far out remotely. And so with partnership with the National Guard, with the Department of Energy, with all these other agencies that we have, we're just trying to help kind of push things along and mature in our posture. What's very difficult though is because we're so far removed as well, they call us like the second chain of islands. Compared to like the Philippines. So we're like at the doorsteps of some serious advanced persistent threats. And it's a struggle to really try and keep up with everything on top of trying to upskill our employees, to try to bring more monies into the cybersecurity programs. Mm-hmm. And I'm just here to try to, raise some awareness and inform individuals that can possibly help us out on that side in that region. I think one of the things that's important to kind of mention too is that per capita, Guam actually has the largest enlisted veterans in the United States. So we have a lot of loyalty and patriotism, but yet our government struggles to try to kind of keep up with the times and the technology. So this platform here is wonderful for us to kind of help kind of open up people's eyes as we're out there, and our island's about like almost 50% DOD. And then there's the rest of us, we just don't want to be forgotten.
Right. So talk about the platform.
Okay.
And specifically what you're trying to do from a user experience standpoint.
Well, we all know that the human element is probably one of the biggest threats too as well.
Yep.
And there's a need of some education. So we've also trying to partner with our local community college, which actually has a great program with Cisco, I believe, to kind of churn out some of these security educators. And then we have the University of Guam, and we work in partnership with them. So we're trying to create this pipeline going up from the K through 12 community college up to the university level to try to help kind of ease and build up our pipeline of workers over there. Because we understand that it's really difficult to bring in talent like the rest of the world is having. So we're having to try and figure out how to build it on our own island with our own resources. For the end user, I think when we start to see things in the news, everybody kind of gets a little shy, and they kind of, when they hear IT, they kind of feel like this is too much. Let's leave it in the hands of the IT departments. And I'm here to tell them that no, we're all a part of this. We all have our part in this. And just as much as I'm trying to educate you, you have to kind of also learn for yourself, because this also affects you too. One of the things that I've really enjoyed actually coming on, because I used to actually live in Pennsylvania, and then I moved back there because my parents they decided to retire there.
Yep.
And I've learned that it's a very tight-knit community. We have bleeding hearts. We love to help people. But I think it can be misguided sometimes when there is no understanding or education behind it. So trying to we do have DoD being able to help propel some of this education into our environment or into our workforce, but I don't know if it's enough necessarily. Because we're a territory, the grants that we get aren't as much as the state would get, or you know what I mean? So it's very difficult to try and help our IT departments kind of keep up with the times when we're dealing with so many legacy systems. And the users just want things faster now, and it's just in more demand. So there's several issues that I believe our IT departments are kind of like struggling with.
To the extent, we hear a lot in this industry about the difficulty of finding talent, of getting people interested in cybersecurity. And you actually hit on something important where you were talking about the attitude of, that's the IT department's problem. Because security and IT, while they're intertwined, they're not, there are some stark differences. And so when you're trying to recruit, talk about, the challenge is obvious. Guam is remote.
We don't pay enough. It's the government.
Yep. But talk about the things that you're trying to do to impress upon potential candidates that they should come to Guam.
Because we have such an interesting environment, it's great practice for all these professionals. We'd be a great platform to test your skills out, just to be able to kind of find APTs in our networks, to be able to deal, I'm dealing with the federal government in a lot of capacity, where it's our partners with the Coast Guard, the FBI, CISA. We work in close conjunction with them, and we're trying to be able to give our employees, as well as people that are interested, opportunities to kind of work with these entities, with their threat hunting teams, with their forensic training. So it's very interesting how we kind of see all the efforts that are being pushed towards our way, because I believe with the powers that be, they kind of understand how strategic Guam is in our area, and we're still trying.
You're in a dangerous part of the world.
We are, and it's scary.
Getting more dangerous all the time.
It is. I mean, Microsoft put that thing out with Vault Typhoon.
Right.
So, and we've been out in the New York Times as well as Politico, just kind of shedding some light on that. And if Microsoft had a hard time finding them, what about us?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be
So how do you get past that? And it's okay if the answer is it's a work in progress. I mean,
it is a work in progress, but I'm really pushing this idea that we just can't do it alone. We really can't. I mean, our IT department only has 16 people. We service 40 line agencies. There's critical infrastructure there too as well. And that's critical infrastructure that DoD also relies on. So we're all beefing up our stuff to try to move forward, but we really do need some help. We need to be able to kind of come to a point where we can sustain ourselves until the cavalry arrives, because that's 8 hours away. It isn't like if we were in a different state and it's, hey, there's so many other professionals that are just down the street or the next state over an hour away. So there has to be some sort of way where we can be able to mitigate properly and quickly in a short amount of time until the real help kind of comes along.
Well, I wish you every success.
I know, thank you.
Anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap?
I'm just grateful for my partners that I have to be able to kind of push these initiatives along too, because we're working with lawmakers, we're working with the National Guard, INDOPACOM, our federal partners. I couldn't have gone this far without their help. And I understand change is very difficult for people.
Yeah.
It is, and there is a lot of bureaucracy and some struggles, but I have high hopes that with the direction that we're going, we'll be able to at least build some traction and some awareness so that people can actually start to see we really do need to build up this part of the world, this second chain of islands, so that we can be more resilient should something come knocking on our door.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very important part of the world. And again, I wish you every success.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, this is, I love what you guys are doing here. This is actually my first time here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that will do it for now. Rest assured, we will be back tomorrow with many more interviews.